will go into some details, and I know that Johnny has prepared some images of the details of the work that you do, the artisanal skills and crafts that you perform in your workshop. Why was it so important to go on the artisanal side from the beginning rather than making a brand for you,
because
Dave?
I've always, even years and years ago, I was always into I'm a massive hi-fi buff, so I like independence that make hi-fi components, not into anything that's mass produced. I'm an audiophile. I like craft beers and things like that. It's just my mindset, and it's the same with with watchmaking. I've always liked independence. Even before we started, it's been a big thing of mine, and I like what they do. And I think independent watchmakers watch brands are innovators. They always have been. They don't follow trends, and that's what I've always liked. And we've tried to do that. We've tried to do the same. It's like, I say, we did the Norfolk at the time, and we did it with a massive, large nameplate on it. It was inspired by old maritime instruments in ships' boiler rooms. We did the. We've done stacks of things. We did the sectional dials on the original Shaftesbury and Hoxton, and I wanted them to look handmade, so we were screwing the chapter rings and making the screws visible on the dials and things like that. That's what it's always been about. It's like and it's the same when we do things now. We launched the S4, which, as you know, was a massive, massive hit, put us on the map big time with the Breguet styling. We, rather than print the chapter rings, we engrave the chapter rings and we infill them with ink by hand using a syringe and then spin them off. So it's all about reviving old skills. That's what it's always been about. And like I say, it's just my mindset. And Simon's the same. Simon, my partner, has been a watchmaker for 30 years. He trained at Wostec, trained on the Peter Roberts, and he's used to engineering and prototyping and things. And that's what it's always been about. We want the watches to look handmade, and that's the point. And the other thing's worth pointing out: we never build two watches the same. I mean, there's the S4 Pietro. That's your ice blue edition with the basket weave dial. It's a cracking watch, and beautiful. It takes 4 days to build that dial. So Johnny showed you the picture earlier of the dial blank, that's how
can we break it down? Because that was the first step. So you started from artisanally made dials.
Brass dial blank, and then you rivet the feet onto the dial blank, which is the one you see on the left. It's in the rough. Then you bead blast it. You put obviously you pre-drill the holes for the chapter rings. There's the feet on the back, and then if you go back to the other image, Johnny, then you can see the engine. This would be a frosted S4, so you've got a frosted dial on the top, an engine turned bit in the seconds area, and then you'll see the chapter ring on the top left. That's raw. That's a laser cut piece of steel. Then it has to be engraved, finished, grained, and infilled, and then they're screwed onto the dial after the dial's been plated. So it's a long process to put the whole thing together, and the chapter rings are literally screwed on from the back. So the ends of the screws are in the 4 o'clock, the 8 o'clock, and the 12 o'clock position, and you infill those holes with ink, so they look like standard round markers. And then, like I say, on the Roman numerals on the chapter ring, that's done with a syringe. You ink using Indian ink, or there's various ways of doing it, but you literally ink in there. It's quite time consuming, but it's a traditional way of doing clock dials. That's why we like doing it. And you basically, then when you've done that, to get all the smudging and the excess ink off, you then spin it. And what we mean by spinning, it's circular graining, which takes the excess ink on and puts the graining on the chapter ring. So it's quite a long-winded process, but it's what our clients like. They like that handmade nature.